Has anyone ever challenged you at something not knowing you were an expert in that field? I was working for an international engineering company and was heavily pushing for the approval of a climate-resilient housing project. This project would take place in a very hurricane-prone and less well-off country, but unfortunately, our senior staff refused to approve it. They claimed we didn't have the resources for it. We did have the resources though, and I knew they were only saying no because the other simpler, but much less useful projects were slightly more profitable. The back and forth between us reached a point where we needed to have a board meeting, during which, the senior staff brought in a financial analyst to explain to me why we didn't have the resources. I'd listened to him make his argument, but whenever I tried to counter his point, he'd interrupt me and wouldn't let me talk. I could barely get a word in. At one point he whipped out a research paper and started referencing it in his arguments to back up his claims. The paper was specifically about climate-resilient projects, and he was using it to absolutely bury my claims. By the end of the meeting the senior staff were looking at me with sly grins, like I should concede, but I wasn't going to. I asked the financial analyst to refrain from interrupting me just once. "I'm not interrupting you," he said, interrupting me. The CEO asked him to let me say my piece, and the analyst apologized and told me to go ahead. I asked him if he knew the name of the author of that research paper.